the live video pulled up over here once he starts it. I'll walk over.
Rick Fairlease. Hello, my name is Peggy. Hi, we're live for the Bigun Rick Show. So right now, obviously, it's just Bigun, but Ricky Baby and the famous Herschel Walker will be here with his lovely wife, Julie. He's actually on a conference call, so he's up front until he finishes that. I am going to him-haw with Josh because he's the man behind the camera, and he's actually really funny. No pressure, Josh. So today was the first day of school for my kids. I'm sure most of you don't care, but I'm just trying to bide time while they're in the conference call. It was the first day of school. My kids did great. The thing I don't understand, Josh, which this is kind of silly, you may know. So they have to take the kids' temperatures before they walk in to the school. And then they have to do it in the middle of the day and then once after. Is it just dramatically gonna, if something's wrong with them, they'll just have a random temperature and show no symptoms? Why do they have to get their temperature taken 3 times a day?
I don't know. I mean, my best guess is that it is just the most precautions they could possibly do. Just make sure you don't have symptoms when you show up, you know?
I mean, they're little kids. It's kind of crazy. They get to go to school. I mean, I understand there's precautions and hand sanitizer, but
yeah,
hey, I'm just happy they get to go to school.
They would look stupid if they let some kid in with a fever.
True, yeah. So you got a cool new dirt bike.
I did, yeah.
What is it?
It's a CRF 450 Supermoto, street legal.
You ride that sucker to work?
Yeah, we're gonna try and get Rick to do some wheelies on it.
He's actually the wheelie king of Irving. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get him to show everybody else.
Oh, okay. So please comment yay or nay. Would you like to see Dad do a wheelie on Josh's new dirt bike? I bet he's still got it. I mean, he may be 63, but I'm sure that man can still wheelie across town with a peace sign in the air.
We'll find out.
What else, Josh?
Just trying to get rid of these captions. Is anybody else seeing captions?
There's captions on here.
Yeah.
So isn't it crazy how everybody was so consumed with the corona thing and corona this, corona that, we're all going to die, blah, 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 blah. And now it's all about the protest and the George Floyd or whatever his name is. And I haven't heard anything about corona. Have you?
No. Yeah. I think
apparently corona's over.
Yeah. I think corona got back on a plane to China and left. Doesn't want anything to do with
I'm okay
this.
with that. So everything in Texas is pretty much open. I mean, my kids started school today, like I said. So that was pretty much the last thing to open, I would think. I'm trying to get on so I can read your comments. Again, we are going to have Herschel Walker, the greatest trade in history, is coming. He's a Georgia Bulldog, a Dallas Cowboy. Where's your lovely wife?
She's coming.
She's lost.
She's coming. Where you want Herschel at? In the cowboy chair?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Herschel.
I'm in the cowboy chair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever you want, Herschel.
Where you at, Rick?
I'm gonna scoot this over for Julie.
And I'm
You
right
sit
here.
there.
I'm right
You sit by
here.
me.
I'm gonna sit here.
Okay.
I'm going to see if there's any comments. Let's see.
Hi y'all.
I barely
I got
see the
Herschel
live
Walker
now.
with me.
Hello, y'all. How you guys doing?
Literally probably the nicest person we've ever met besides
well,
Julie.
I don't know about
Oh,
that.
Julie's eating. Julie, you gonna eat or you gonna?
I'm here.
Podcast.
Yeah,
Why
you
not?
are. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah,
you're
on
part
the-
of the family. Come on.
Well, I can't be moving the chair though.
That one's
need to get
squeezed.
I know. I
That
keep
was
telling
sweet.
him
I
to put
probably need to get another
WD-40 and he
chair. I'm
likes
gonna get
it.
another chair
Okay.
because
Did you turn off your phone?
That one's
Yeah.
that one's
Herschel likes to
squeezed.
move around.
my chair squeaks and stuff.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Oh, I should probably leave the camera. I think I'm like
Oh, you
Nick
are.
Diaz.
Oh, did you silent it?
No, you got to silent it.
So got
So-
Herschel here.
Hold on.
Yes.
Why do they call you Bo?
My nickname is Bo.
Why?
It's funny because Herschel is a very unusual name for the South. Jewish. A lot of people know Herschel is Jewish, stand for Harold, and so a lot
Harold.
of people couldn't say Herschel, so my nickname is Bo. So if you ever meet Bo Jackson wanted to be me, but I'm
Oh, there you
better looking.
Thank you, Josh.
And so you in March you turned 58.
Yes,
57.
but I wouldn't tell no one that, Rick.
Oh, don't tell
Oh,
nobody
thanks a
that.
lot.
Yeah, that's you. I really turned 22.
Happy
I turned
birthday,
22.
Herschel.
Thank you.
No, 22 is Emmett.
22.
You turned 34.
34. Yes,
Oh,
I turned
yeah.
34. Yes.
34.
Yes.
So, so the reason we're a few minutes late is you were on the presidential council
Yes.
with appointed by Trump.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
So
it was.
tell people what and people forget of your history with Trump, but can you explain that, Herschel?
Yeah, back in 1983, I went to the USFL from Georgia. It was the first professional football team I played on,
Right,
which was really owned by a guy by the name of J. Walter Duncan out of Oklahoma.
right,
And he owned the first team I played for. And after a year, there was a guy by the name of Donald J. Trump, I think, bought the team, a young guy, bought the team. I didn't know who he was. He was out of New York. I got a chance to meet Donald, and we became good friends. And we've been friends ever since. Little Ivanka and little Donald. A lot of people don't know I sort of helped raise them two. Every Disney World, SeaWorld, amusement park they ever went to, my ex-wife and I took them. So I've known that family for a long time. And, when people always talk about racism, I don't know whether they consider me to be black. I hope they do, because as I look at myself, I am black.
You're black.
And so when I said, Donald Trump is everything he ever had, I've been invited to.
Right.
And so
Well, you've been a part of his life for 30 years.
I've been a part of his life for over 30 years. So when he became president, he appointed me co-chairman of the President Fitness Council,
Right.
which is a little bit different than the old fitness councils, because the old fitness council, as you heard, it probably never did anything.
Right.
Well, we got an opportunity to work with HHS, which Mr. Azar, then HHS, and we are trying to be active in the youth sports world, and a lot of the people out doing different things. And so we have different meetings and different calls from the White House. And so we're active. And with everything going on right now with the rioting and all that stuff, we're trying to help out as well.
Right. Well, I know that you do so many things for so many different organizations, like you're wearing a strike force.
Yes.
You do a lot of military stuff too.
I do. I've been working with the military now for about 12 years. One of the things, which is my love, out of everything I ever do in my life, working with the military is probably the number one, because, I work with the behavioral health side, trying to remove that stigma of mental health. When I got out of football, I wrote a book, Herschel Walker, My Life with Dissociative Identity Disorder. And I talked about, I had an anger problem when I got out of football, and I didn't know where that anger problem stemmed from. I never drank. I never had a beer before. I never tasted alcohol. Never had a drug. And I got out of football, and I'm trying to figure out, why am I angry? Why am I angry? And I thought everyone else was always wrong. I was always right. Then I realized that I had a problem. And I went off to a hospital, a behavioral health hospital. We used to call it crazy hospital back in those days. But today, you can't say crazy hospital, because HR get kind of pissed off at you. So let's say behavioral health hospital. I went off to a behavioral health hospital and found out that what happened to me as a little kid, I was overweight. I was bullied. I used to have a speech impediment. Kids used to pick on me. And so a lot of that anger and embarrassment, I set it back here. Never really dealt with it. And I used that anger and all that determination through athletics. That was my coping mechanism. But when I started getting out of football, which was the main thing I was doing, the anger now started being displayed in my life.
Right.
Sort of like, sometimes you have a problem.
You didn't have the release.
I didn't have the release. Like sometimes people may turn to alcohol, or they may turn to drugs, or may turn to overeating or cutting, because they don't know what to do. And so when I went off and got help, I overcame, and not that I overcame, I started dealing with it.
Right.
I realized that we all fall short of the glory of God. That's what happened to a lot of people. And then I started thinking about my military. A lot of people don't know I was going to the Marines before I went off to college. I was headed off to the Marines, so I had an opportunity to go downrange and see what our young men and women in service do. And I said, some of the things that they do, they don't see that here in the States.
Right.
Things they have to go through, things they have to see. They don't see that here in the States. Some people can handle that and some people can't. And the people that can't handle it, there's nothing wrong with them. But yet we watch so much television we see someone that have a mental problem, and you see that person being a crazy person out doing these awful things. But that's not the way it works. Some people are just totally depressed. Some people just cannot handle that. And that's what happens to them. And so that's the reason I started working on the behavioral health side, trying to remove that stigma of mental health from the military.
Right. And so you're like, when it's not the COVID-19, the quarantine and all that, you are gone almost every single weekend.
I am. Every 3 weeks, I'm at a base.
Wow.
So every 3 weeks, I'm at a base somewhere in the world. You know, I never know where I'm going to be at.
And how long are you at the base?
I'm at a base anywhere from 2 to 5 days, and it could be different bases that I'm going to, because I would speak to an average of between 50 to 1,000 people while I'm at the base. And I don't care if it's one. If I can help one person, then something that's very unique that always almost bring a tear to my eye is when I'm finished speaking and I get a chance to go through PT. I get a chance to do combative with them. I get a chance to do all the things that they're doing. But when I finish speaking to some of them, I may have someone may come up to me and they say, thank you for helping me, because I've been having problems. And
that makes
because
it worth
of you,
it
I'm gonna go and talk to someone, and that makes it worth it, because I've been in those dark places.
Right.
People don't realize, they think of Herschel Walker, a football player, all these things, but I've been in those dark places, and I understand that, and that's what I don't think people realize. Like yourself, people see you, the motorcycle guy, they don't know how hard you work to do what you're doing. People only see the results. They always see the results, but they don't know how hard you work to get to where you're at. And that's what people don't realize with the military, with yourself, or anyone that's out working. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. I see so many kids playing basketball, want to be Stephen Curry. Oh, there's Stephen Curry. And I'm like, the guys, have you seen Stephen Curry when he was 3? His father had him shooting baskets.
Right.
You're not just going to grow up and thinking you're just going to go out on the court and start playing NBA.
Well, it's like Tiger Woods or any of those guys. I mean, they're driven at a young age, and a lot of it is from their parents.
From the parents and sacrifices.
Right.
Yeah, sacrifice. You have to use sacrifice.
Right.
To build a company, you have to sacrifice. And what I mean by that, you couldn't go out to that club or go hang out with the boys. You couldn't do that. You had to sacrifice and work. And that's why I tell people, no, I didn't go to no prom. I'm like, how in the world did I go to a prom? I had to study. I had to get good grades. I wanted to go to college. I'm sorry, I couldn't go to this bar because I had to make good grades here because I had to keep my grades up. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't go date over here because I'm running track over here. You have to sacrifice, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay if you don't want it.
But that's exactly right. What you said is they don't see the hard work; they just see the results of the hard work.
Right.
That's very good.
So I'm gonna get your opinion, Herschel. My stepmom thinks that I'm a little too aggressive toward Rocky because I am a proud dirtbag mother. Rocky plays baseball.
Yes.
I am the loudest one in the stands. I make him practice like crazy, and I'm super aggressive. And she's like, he's 5. You don't need to be this aggressive. And I thought, he is gonna play pro ball.
Well, that's one of the things you got to remember. Do Rocky want to play?
That's exactly right.
Is if Rocky want to do it, not if mom want to do it. Mom want to play, but do Rocky want to do it? And that's what I tell parents all the time. You want to make him do it, but let him do what he want to do, because that's when he's going to be as happy.
Yeah,
but if he want to do it, you got to say, now, Rocky, you need it. But he's 5. But at the same time, Rocky, you want to dedicate yourself to doing it. You do want to practice. You want to practice if you want to do that. But don't make him do it because you want him to do it. Make him do it because he wants to do it.
Well, I wanted him to play football, but he wanted to play baseball, and now he would just kind of rather sit on the couch and watch TV. It's like bull corn. Like, get up and
no, that's
do
okay.
something.
Long as he's active, let him still. But one of the things I used to tell my son, okay, if you want to watch TV, what you're going to do for every 30 minutes of TV, you owe me 10 minutes of exercise.
Oh, that's a good one.
For every 30 minutes of TV, you owe me 10 minutes of exercise. I mean, you got to do something. Yeah, you got to do it.
There's no commercials anymore.
Yeah, you have to do something, but that's what you do is keep them active, because one of the things I think with kids is, you don't know when a kid is small just what he's going to be.
Yeah.
But one of the things I will tell you with Rocky, always give him positive reinforcement. If he does something bad, don't just come down hard on him. Give him constructive criticism, because if you tell a kid how great he is, he will become great. You tell him how bad he is, he will become bad. That is the honest truth. And that's what I try to tell people. Give a kid constructive, positive reinforcement, because that's what they will become. And I said, kids, a lot of things are taught to them. It ain't like they learn, it's taught, and they taught from the parents. And I tell every adult is a role model.
True. Well, you know what I think? That goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I think racism is also taught.
It's taught.
A kid that's 5 years old doesn't,
they don't know anything about it.
He emulates what he is.
That's exactly right. And and when you talk about racism, this was so interesting. And I tell this story all the time. I said, what's strange is someone that's in their 60s or probably in their 70s. I'm not going to be mad at them if they're racist. I'm not going to be mad at them because they were taught that from their parents. Right. And during those times, there was racism. So I can't be mad at them for that. But someone maybe in their 60s, 50s, I can be mad at you now because this world has evolved. You have social media. You can see, even though you may have been taught racism, but you can see this world is not one race. This world is made up of beautiful people. So it's not one race. So I can be mad at you there. But I remember when I was playing at Georgia. And it was strange because, I'm a decent player, but I was coming across the
player. He's a decent player.
I was coming across the stadium, the parking lot of the stadium, going to my dorm room, and I had the state troopers with me, and the crowd trying to get autographs and different things like that. And that was an old gentleman trying to get up to me. And what was funny is the state troopers were trying to keep him back. I said, no, let him come up, because I thought he wanted an autograph. So I reached to get a pen, and he didn't want me to sign anything. All he did is grab my hand. And he said, Herschel? I said, yes, sir. He said, I was one of the biggest Klansmen here in the state of Georgia. But he said, I want to tell you, I'm sorry. You've changed my mind. Wow. And he walked away.
That's very cool.
Well, what's funny, the reason I tell you something like that is he was taught from his parents this. But when he saw that something was different, he changed his tune. And that's why I said sometimes we have to be living sacrifice. And not say, and not to be mean, but I like, today's world, being in Washington, all you hear is the word racist. You're racist if you don't like the color of my thing. You're racist. And I said, guys, they use that word so like it's just easy. That is not a,
well, it's an excuse to blame something.
But what's funny, racism is something when people are hung.
Right.
That's what racism is. When people are hung, people are shot, that is what racism is. Racism is not, I don't like you believe in this. I don't like that. That's your racism.
Right.
And that's what they're doing in Washington. That's why today's world, I said, we got to take it back. And I'm not trying to promote my Twitter, but I sent out a tweet today. I said,
we don't care if you promote your
Twitter. I don't promote my Twitter. I don't know what it is. I don't promote it. I don't know
what's his Twitter account?
Herschel Walker.
At Herschel Walker.
Basic.
Hey, I sent out a tweet today. You know what I said to people? I said, I'm confused. You know what I'm confused about? I said, I'm confused because I haven't seen any of the Congress people or senators doing anything. But all this looting, all this stealing, all this stuff, they're breaking the law. I haven't seen them say anything. President Trump comes out and make a statement yesterday. Everybody now comes on TV. He said, "Oh no, we got to impeach him." Or no, this is not right. You can't do that. They never said anything to help the situation.
Right.
All they do is try to talk against the president. So what I said, so what I want to do is, you guys not in the game, meaning that this is tough times. So you were the starting team, so you need to get on the bench now, just for this little bit. Let the second team come in. I'm volunteering myself to be a backup senator. Because what I want to put in place is I want to say, okay, true protesters, meaning true protesters can protest from 9 to 5. Okay? And protest is over.
Right.
Now, starting at 8, that's a curfew, meaning anyone out after 8, unless you got a good excuse, you're going to get arrested.
Right.
I think that's what we got to put in place right now. We got to now put something in place and stay to it. I think people now do not want to listen. I remember I used to get a spanking and I didn't listen.
Yeah.
So I know you can't go spank everybody today, but you can't put them in jail. Yeah. But a spanking kept me out of jail. A spanking kept me from taking stuff from people.
She and I have had that same conversation with her kids. But if I can touch on one more point.
Yes.
You've known Donald Trump for over 30 years. So you throw out all the politics.
Yes.
Is Donald Trump a good guy?
Donald Trump is a great guy. You know,
Okay.
he's a great guy. And, you know, one thing you can measure this man by is his kids.
Right.
His kids, he loves his kids. Well, you see the way his kids are. They're
Mhm.
great kids. And, you know, I've been
Yeah.
telling Donald for a long time, I think people need to see him with his grandkids. You know, his grandkids, they can be running all over the office. He can be there just working and whatever. They run all over and grandpa, whatever. I said, people don't realize you measure a man sometime by his kids he raised.
Right. That's
Hey,
right.
Bigun, would you let your kids go to Disney with Herschel for the day if you were a racist
No.
and not even be there?
No, but Trump does that, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's the thing is, you know, whether you like his politics or not, you know, we don't know him. We know
Right,
what
but,
you
you
see
know-
on TV, and they to me, and I'm not political, but to me, they are always trying. The media is always trying to put
Well, you know,
something on
to
him.
it. But you know what's strange, and I'm gonna say this because I've
We're just
heard
so lucky he's
so many
fortunate enough to have
politicians.
let it roll off.
The problem I have today is I heard one politician said this has been going on since Rodney King. It's sort of insulting because they've been in office since Rodney King
Right.
and they've done nothing.
There you go.
So why are they there? Why are the same people in office and yet they're still running, talking about someone that just came in that they never done anything to help you do anything? So my thing is, and I put on my Twitter, the thing that we have to do if we want to see changes, first we need to fill out the what's the thing?
Census.
The census to let people know we even exist.
Right.
Fill that census out, let people know we exist. Then we need to register to vote. But we need to quit voting for the same. We go vote for a new president and put the same Congress and senator in the same spot. We need to get new people because they haven't done nothing. They haven't changed anything. Why do they not come together and say, for this interim, we have to put guidelines on what's happening because we can't even support our police. You know, all police officers are not bad.
Right.
All police, 99.9% police officers are great people.
Yeah.
And you have some that are bad, but that's society. But you cannot just tie a police officer's hands up
No.
because that's what they're doing now. They're afraid to even do anything because you're going to be called out for whatever you do when people are breaking your windows. You know, it was upsetting when I saw the killing in Minnesota. It was upsetting when I saw the killing in Georgia. I was angry when I saw kids in Dallas, Texas beat this guy. And he was white. I was upset. And I said, you know what? I am sick of this, that our senators, our congressmen will not speak out and say, it is enough is enough. You got to quit this. And if you don't quit it, people are going to get locked up. And I even said this, and people are going to get mad at me. And I hope they don't get too mad at me, but they're going to get mad at me. I said, you know what? The TV got to get turned off now.
Yeah.
News media, you got to leave because right now you may need to bust some heads because people stealing, people destroying, you're destroying people's livelihood. These people have worked all their life for their businesses. And you come in and just destroy everything when you have this COVID-19 that they already are fighting. Now you're going to come in and destroy their business and all you're going to do is think it's okay. Well, I said, TV, turn off a little bit because some heads need to get busted right now because
They do.
the problem you got is it's going to get worse. You had police officers that were shot last night. Now, before you had bats, they had bricks. Now you got guns. And now you're going to the neighborhoods. Now you do it. What is going on that our Congress, who we elected to be to our guidelines, our leaders, where are they?
They're silent.
They're silent. And then when the president says something, they're talking about impeaching.
Right.
Or he not doing this. Well, you know what? It is time that you get off the bench and get in the game.
Right. I saw on the social media yesterday, you know how they had the show of force where the cops were all lined up there arm to arm. There was they had a blockade and a black lady got out of her car and she was pissed because they wouldn't let her go through. And she
Yes.
was huge.
Yes.
And she got out and the white cop is shaking his head. She hit him as hard as she could, like that. And then she hit him with the other, and he didn't do anything, I guess, because he was white.
Yes.
And so the guy standing next to him, a black cop, pulled back his fist and he hit that lady right in the head and dropped her, which I thought was, it told you a couple of things. It told you that the white cops are scared
They're scared,
to do
but at the
that.
same time, what did the media say? The police is wrong.
Exactly.
The police are wrong because they hit this lady, but at the same time, you got to have law and order. This country was built on law and order. What's so unique about it? We have to be the best country in the world because everybody want to come here.
Yeah, true.
So we're the best country in the world. So why are we the best country in the world? Because we got law and order.
Well, and then with the people that come over, it seems to me they want to come here because we're the best country in the world. Yet when they get here, they want to change us
Change
to more like
to
what
be
they.
like where they came from.
Yeah, that
and I
doesn't
said that doesn't make any sense, and that's what we
No.
can't let happen. But what we can't let happen is we have an election, which everyone get a chance to vote. Everyone get a chance to vote. We don't. It's not like and not to mean Russia or China, where they have an election, but your vote really doesn't count. We know
Right.
who we're going to have in office. We have an election. Well, if you don't like the election, that means you're supposed to act like this. And then this is what really made me angry. And I'm not a lawyer. I never played a lawyer on TV, but I do know a little bit of law. It was interesting because I heard so many celebrities was going to put the bonds up for some of the riders, from the people that were riding the word, whatever. They're going to put the bond up. And I said, well, it's interesting because just a little law I do know, if a good business person who has lost his business get a good lawyer, they may be able to sue that celebrity because he contributed and encouraged this guy to go out and commit a crime.
Right.
I would really think seriously if I'm going to tell somebody I'm going to put up your bond, meaning whatever you do, I'm going to put up your bond. No, I'm not.
Then you might be responsible.
You
for
may be
their
responsible
actions.
for it. So it is strange why people are jumping on this bandwagon instead of just saying, you know what you're doing is wrong. I saw a couple of players fought back.
Right.
NBA player, a guy broke his window. Well,
I saw that.
and he just didn't play. I saw John Jones made the guys put the paint can down, and I told him, I said, you're my hero.
Right.
And I'm not asking anyone to step out there. I don't want anyone to get hurt, but you have to protect yourself because it doesn't seem our leader's going to do it. So you have to protect yourself. I don't know what else you're going to do.
So
I don't want to interrupt or change the subject, but I have a really good question, and it's totally off topic, but I'm
Yes.
curious to know. Okay, so Denver McLemore wants to know what player hit you the hardest, if any?
The player that hit me the hardest was a guy by the name of Mike Singletary.
yeah.
Mike Singletary hit me. I was coming through the line, and he came off at an angle and hit me right in the ear hole.
Oh,
And I remember seeing these yellow birds and these blue stars. It was like a cartoon, like, whoa, like it was real quick. And I remember getting up thinking, whoa, I hope they don't give me the ball the next play because let me get my head together. And they called my number again. And I said, oh, but Mike Singletary.
So you know Reuben Brown.
Yes.
Played for the Chicago
Nice
Bears
guy.
and
Yes,
all that.
Reuben Brown.
Great guy. He's one of my hamster buddies.
Now he ride motorcycles. Don't
He
he?
does.
Ride,
Yeah.
yes.
So he rides with us in the hamsters, and so I was with him one day, and some people from Louisiana asked him the same thing. They
Yes.
said they were talking about the CTE and all that stuff,
Yes.
and they asked him if he was going to be part of that, and he said no. And they said, "How come?" And he said, "My grandmama hit me harder than anybody ever hit me on the football field."
Yeah, I did. I've been hit pretty hard by my parents. And it's a fan that you realize your parents can really throw well because I would take out running, and I can run around the corner. They can throw a shoot at me, do a curve, like, whoop, come around.
So when I know one of my childhood heroes was always Tom Landry.
Yes.
And I know that you played for Coach Landry.
Yes.
So what kind of guy was he? What was he like in real life?
What's so funny about Coach Landry, and I've told everyone, Coach Landry is the finest coach I ever played for in my whole entire life.
Right.
Not just a coach, but a man, what he stood for. Because that was something that he did when we were in Thousand Oaks, California, where we trained at. And I really respect him for that. Is, during the NFL, you have training camp. And I think you practice 6 days, you practice, and the 7th day you have off. 24 hours you have off, you can go do whatever you want to do. Well, because we were out in Thousand Oaks, California, Coach Landry had a rule that he never gave you that Sunday off unless you was married and your wife came up to him and said she was in town.
Okay.
And he said, because I'm not going to let you get in trouble during my watch.
Right.
And he said, because if your family is not together, you're no good to me. And I said, that is, I thought those were some powerful words.
Well, he always said, it was God first, family
Yes.
second, and the Dallas Cowboys were third.
No, I can believe that. You better have God. I tell everyone, God is first in my life. And, I was raised in the church. I tell them when I was raised in the church, it was kind of interesting because if you're raised in the South, church is all day.
Yeah.
Meaning you go to church at 9 o'clock, you don't get out till 4. I mean, you got one pair of Sunday shoes, no shoes too tight on your feet. And then you have the women, the hat. There's a women like the old women, the hat section over there on the right. They're the one that will spike you if you say anything or you fall asleep, you get whacked, like whack, and you don't even know who is this strange lady hitting me? But you get hit all the time with them. I remember all that stuff.
Right.
Okay, so another question. Which one is Bo's favorite riding bike?
My favorite ride. Oh, geez, now you got me. My favorite riding bike. Probably, what's so funny is probably that first victory you did for me.
Mhm.
One that you did, the mustard one with
The one that
stars.
she
I
was going
love
The one
to
that you want to
bike.
ride. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably my favorite riding
Okay.
bike is that one.
So how upset
Yes.
were you when we didn't get to go on the Kyle Petty ride?
Oh, you know
Oh,
what?
I'm so
Let me tell you,
upset.
I was so sad because this is untrue. Before that ride, I looked so forward to that ride that I started calling like months before the ride, and then I even started riding out to the ride.
Oh, really?
I started riding out to
he
the
rides
ride
to the
because
ride.
I look forward to that ride and I even tell Julie, I said, what we're gonna do. I don't care what we have to do. I don't care. This is untrue. If the president called me during that ride, you tell him that I got something I'm doing because I'm not doing whatever because I'm going on the ride. I've been doing it. What is this? My 16th year.
Yes. So
I
when
love it.
and I've ridden with Herschel on 2 or 3 of those rides, and it's Herschel is Herschel Walker, the human on the ride. He's not the celebrity. He's just your buddy on the ride. Now the cool thing is when you get to the destinations, because the Kyle Petty charity ride, they can tell you within 5 minutes where you're going to be, and so when you get to the ending spot, they have these autograph lines set up there, and so there's sometimes hundreds of people in line, and so you're riding all day. So Herschel gets out there with Kyle Petty and Richard Petty and some of the other guys and signs autograph for an hour or two.
Wow.
Yeah, most of those
there.
people are my relatives though, because with Richard Petty there, Richard Petty's like Elvis.
Yeah.
So I tell a lot of my relatives to show up, to get in line, pretend like I got a crowd of people with me to make me look like I'm important. But that's what it is. Most of those people are my relatives.
Well, Julie told me about 3 or 4 years ago, we were on a ride and Richard was with us. She said, Herschel's always the big daddy till Richard Petty shows up. And Herschel drops down to number 2.
Richard is like Elvis. You talk
He's
about
the king.
Yeah, he is. I tell you what, I remember watching it. Like I didn't watch a lot of NASCAR. I remember watching that. Richard Petty was always a big name, and I'm gonna say this, which is interesting because I can say that we became friends, Mr. Petty and Kyle, like the Petty family. But one day I was standing out there with Richard, and Richard said, "Herschel, I would love to have a football autographed by you like this." And before I can say something, he said, and I will autograph you a hat. One of the hats. I autograph you one of the hats like this right here. He said, if you'll just please let me have a football. And I'm thinking, dude, I gave you 15 footballs for one of your hats. He didn't realize I didn't want to feel like, hey, I don't want to act like a pig. I'm like, you gonna give me a hat for a football?
And so when we were in his museum there at his place, he's got that football and some other stuff autographed by you. Yeah, he's got a cool museum, and so we stopped there 2 years ago.
Yes.
At the museum and spent a few hours there. It's pretty cool.
And that ride is so unique. Is like I said, I started 16 years ago, and I played football. I played pro football for 15 years. I probably have closer friends on that ride than I did when I played football.
Huh.
It is the most unusual thing I've ever done. I've never been on I love motorcycle. I love anything that go fast. I'm like Ricky Bobby. I like to go fast. I like to just go. But it's strange because people on that ride, we call all the time. We check on each other, this and that.
Oh, cool.
And it's the most interesting thing I've ever been a part of. And I love it. And all I do is just ride. I don't know where I'm going, but I know how to follow the leader. I'm like a cow. Like, I just get in the bunch and I follow the leader. Wherever they go, I'm going.
Yeah, I was so upset when we didn't get to do it. My friend Jody and I about boohooed. Hey, did you get your little package with your goodies, like your coins and everything?
Oh, you got that?
In there? You didn't?
You got it, Herschel. You did.
Oh, well,
Julie got it.
Julie hid it from me. I was just like, no, I didn't get no package with no Julie. I ain't get nothing.
So I got it, and it said from the Kyle Perry charity, right? And I squealed like a pig, and Dad goes, "Well, there's 2 of there. You can give them to your kids." And I said, "This is mine. You give yours to my kids." This is my first time.
This was going to be a unique ride because we're going to ride out to a destination
Mm-hmm.
and start ride from there. But I kept thinking, I love doing like we go to Seattle, go to California, ride back the East Coast. Because, I didn't realize how beautiful America really was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so like a days ago. But I think riding a motorcycle, I got to see how beautiful America really is and see the people. And I absolutely love it. I never get on a motorcycle and ride across the country by myself. But getting with that many bikes and being on a ride, it's the most unique. Even at night, when everyone is sitting out eating or whatever, all of them together, it is absolutely amazing.
No, it is. It's a very cool deal. And like when we go, almost every night, you're eating together with a bunch of people, and it's just it's a cool deal to be a part of. Now, when people are here and I'm showing them around, I always say, now see those bikes back there with the covers on them? All those belong to Herschel Walker. Now tell everybody how many bikes you own and how many cars you own.
Okay, motorcycles. I own, how many do I have here?
15 maybe.
15. So motorcycles, I probably own about 50 motorcycles and probably have close to 100 cars.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like to go fast. So when I see a car that can go faster than that, I have to get another that can go faster than this one here.
But most of them are in Georgia.
Most of them
at
in Georgia at my mom's house. I have a couple of garages there.
Right.
And I got the first
Now you got a couple of
warehouses. But you remember you did that
Fat Boy.
That Fat Boy for me with Jesus on it.
Yeah.
I still got that, but what's so unique, people don't even know what's unique about this bike. That bike only got 600 miles on it.
That's it.
Wow.
It's only got 600 miles. And what's so funny, I wanted to bring it on a Kyle Petty ride
And just
and
ride
ride it
around
like just for a little
yeah.
bit. And someone said, Herschel, like during that time, it only had like a 96 engine.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that fast.
No, it's not very
so
fast.
I can't ride that then. No.
So speaking of our friend Michael Rasmussen from Chicago. Motorcycle question for Herschel. Dying to find out if Herschel still owns that 15th anniversary Big Dog Bulldog bagger.
Yes, I still got that bagger. I think I got. Is it here?
It's here. It's
I
here.
got the bagger here. Yes,
It's here, Rasmussen.
Yes, I got it. I got that. That's a pretty bike.
Yeah.
And he also has a 10th anniversary American Iron Horse Texas chopper too. That's
I have
really
the chopper.
cool.
They sent me that. That's Mary Ann. The chopper's Mary Ann, and that one is Jody.
So,
I most get. If you don't have a name, that means you're gonna be gone soon. You got to get a name.
So Rasmussen has a 15th anniversary Big Dog Canine in the same red-black color scheme.
Oh,
so what's yours? What did you name yours, Rasmussen?
Yes, that is a beautiful bike and fast. That is a very, very pretty bike. I absolutely love that bike. You got me that. I love that bike.
Yeah, no, that's a cool bike. I still have. You remember one of the magazine guy came out and took some
pictures of it,
or the newspaper. So somewhere up front, I had the picture of me and you and the American Iron Horse guy with that bike.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
Next question. Let's see. Who's Herschel's favorite teammate he ever played with?
Oh, geez, my favorite teammate.
Brad Farmer.
Now I'm probably gonna get in trouble. You know what's so funny?
Who'd you say, Julie?
Can I name a couple of guys?
Yeah.
Oh, in college, I played with a guy by the name of Frank Rawls. Frank was from Barcelona, Spain. He was my big brother. So he's gonna be probably one of my favorite guys.
Now, did he ever turn pro?
He got drafted by the Denver Broncos. And this is he's very smart. Frank's father graduated college at 13. I think his brother graduated college at 16. Frank was kind of stupid because he was 21 and stuff. But a very, very intelligent guy. And Frank wanted to go and work in the business world. And he became head of North America for the Latino community for Coca-Cola. He's from Barcelona, Spain.
Okay.
And Frank is still like my big brother. I'm closer to Frank than I am probably to my biological brothers because I've been around them so much. That's why when I hear the word racism, it's sad because we all can get along. That's so funny.
Right.
How in the world could somebody be a racist today?
Yeah.
How can you be a racist today? This was so funny. I said, if a war breaks out, there's no pure anyone out there today because there's so many mixed people today. Because, look at Elizabeth Warren. She thought she was Native American.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think she got that much, but she found out she got some other stuff in her. But what's funny, there's no pure anyone out there today. So I don't know how anyone can be a racist, but Frank is my guy I play with. Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin is another one.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoy Mike Dion. I enjoy guys like that. Reggie White. Reggie White was another guy. Reggie stood for Maurice Carthon. Wait a minute. Maurice Carthon and I started. Probably don't know that name. Maurice,
I do. Didn't he play for the Eagles too?
No, Maurice played for the
Giants. Yeah,
he played for the Giants, but he also played in USFL with me. Todd Fowler from Van, Texas. Todd was with me with the Dallas Cowboys. And I love Todd and Tony Dorsett, Randall Cunningham. I played with some incredible players. And I'll tell you about Todd Fowler. Todd was from Van, Texas.
Right.
And when I first got to the Cowboys, it was Todd Fowler, Tony Dorsett, and myself. And Tony is a neat freak. Tony's so neat. Tony is like, his room is like clean and neat. And I'm sort of neat, but I'm not as neat as Tony. Todd is a mess of Marvin. So you had three rooms. You had Tony room that was really neat, my room that was okay, Todd room that was a total mess. But we were roommates the whole time because we loved each other.
Right.
And Todd and I used to, people thought we were on drugs because we were always laughing. We were always together. So we were always laughing. So people thought we were on something, but it's because and Todd is white. Todd Fowler and I said, he's like my brother. And that's why I said that it's crazy to hear these terms there because the people, and in sports, you don't know anyone. They don't know no color. No, I don't care what they are.
Well, people that I guess talk about that are people that maybe don't have friends that are different than them.
Well, you say
if you
that,
don't know anything.
I think what it is we've had a society that think everything is supposed to be given to them,
right?
And that if you don't
that's
get it,
young people.
You got a shortcoming. Like somebody did you wrong because you didn't get what you think you deserve. And because I've heard this word, and I know I'm going to get everybody to write me, but don't write me. Don't write Herschel Walker because I'm not going to answer you. But I heard the word.
No, Julie's dad will answer.
Yeah, all this thing about respiration, pay. I'm like, wait a minute, who are you going to pay? What is the word? Reparation. But who are you going to pay? Who is going to get the money? What are you going to do with the money? To make things equal is to make, because there's some people like Todd Fowler, he's white. He's just like Herschel Walker. His parents struggle to get him through it too. Your parents struggle to get you through it. People have a hard time. No one goes back years ago. There's no doubt it was tough, but give you an opportunity by giving you a hand up, not a hand out.
Right.
And what I mean by that is it's just like in business. I have a little chicken company, and I tell people, they say I'm a certified minority-owned business. I compete against Tyson. I compete against all these other companies. And
I wouldn't really say little.
Yeah, no, it's not little. But what I mean by that,
how delicious it is.
what I mean by that is,
Why doesn't Julie pull up a chair?
What I mean
wish
by
she
that
would.
is, I want people to like give me, because there's sometimes I would go into a meeting with these big companies. I'm not gonna throw a name out, and because I'm African American, they just give me this little piece over there. But I want the government to say, no, treat him like you're gonna treat everyone. And if you don't, you get punished for doing that. That's all I wanted. Give me an opportunity to play the game. Don't pigeonhole me by putting me over here. Give me an opportunity to play the game because I can compete with them. And that's what I tell people. I don't want you to give me anything. I even told the University of Georgia that.
The if somebody asks me, and of course this is the person I'm fixing to name is not a person I've ever met, nor will I ever meet. But if somebody said, who do I think would be a great president or somebody great to be in a leadership role, it gets the minority category twice because it would be Condoleezza Rice.
Yes.
Do you know Condoleezza
I thought you just
Rice?
said me.
Well, you'd be next after.
Okay.
Is Condoleezza?
Yeah, I did. She
is as smart as she.
She's a superwoman. I'm a superwoman. She's a superwoman, and I think she'll be a great person to get in a leader. Well, she was in a leader role.
She was.
She was in a leader role.
So, have you ever thought about running for public office?
I've had a lot of people wanted me to run, and I said I won't run because I'm one of these people. I can't tell you something if I don't want to do it. I think we have people that run for office. They tell you all these great things they're going to do, and they get into office and do zero, do not one thing. And I think that'll drive me crazy.
Right.
I think if I tell you I'm going to try to do this, I'm trying to do it because you remember when this Kaepernick Act thing came out, how big Black Lives Matter was so big. Everybody was going to cure it. All of a sudden, a month it faded away. They did nothing. And today it's back up again.
Right.
And they're making a big deal about it. And I said, guys, if you're going to do it, you got to stay with it. You got to stay with it and get it worked out.
Has to be part of life.
It got to be part of life. Well, you don't just pass it by. And I see, and I said, I don't want to be a politician that's just going to just tell someone something and not try to do it.
Well, yeah, but if you were a politician, you could make some change.
No, that's the reason I said I would try my hard to make change. Remember, I just volunteered to be a substitute politician for during this time right here.
You did.
And I said, what I'm going to do is I want to intervene by calling a meeting to implement this, like the protest. Like the nonviolent protest, this is your time you're going to do it in, and then you go home. And then after this here, this is going to be the curfew, and then everybody else got to be home. Because I love when the mayor from Atlanta said, "Y'all keep your ASS home. That's what you go home. What are you doing out late at night?" And most of all, this was sad. Breaking into stores, taking something that's not yours.
Right.
What did you come up from? It's not just
that's just meanness. That's just people.
To take something that's not yours,
right?
And someone.
And it's not just black kids.
No,
it's white kids. It's everybody.
But this was so funny. I watched them steal, and I told you this. I watched them go into the Apple store, stealing all these phones. They running out. And I said, Julie, those phones ain't gonna work.
No.
I said, so what are you taking phones for? Those phones ain't gonna ever work. That they just took. But they want to destroy it. They just destroying it just to destroy it. That's meanness.
So I have a question that I've often wondered, and I was going to ask you this before, and I never have. So you're raised in the Deep South,
yes,
just like me.
Yes.
So when I was a kid, and you're younger than me, but when I was a kid and you were a kid, the Dixie flag, the Confederate flag, yes. I don't ever remember it being a racial thing. It was just a flag of the South. But is it a racial thing now? I know they're trying to make it.
People have made it a racial
But
thing.
Do you look at it as a racial thing?
I never look at it as anything but just their flag. My flag is the American flag.
Right.
And I don't think about, I think people think about something they got nothing to do.
Right.
So they start thinking of all these things that we want to change. One thing just like we're going to change all the monument. You know what's so funny? If you erase history, it's going to repeat itself.
Right.
You can't erase history because it will repeat itself. And that's what's happening right now. All these people want to erase what happens in the past, what happened before. You better not, because it will repeat itself. That's what they're trying to get to do right now. But I want to stand that. I think a lot of people in America are not going to stand for it. Right. Because let me tell you, these people that are out running around, breaking into stores, doing all these things, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of more people than they are.
Right.
And they're not, sooner or later, they're going to get tired of it.
Well, that's going to come to a screeching halt.
That's exactly right.
The people in charge, the mayors and the governors and all that, they're going to, for a while it's going to happen, and then they're going to do like what you said. They're going to say, okay, we're done. No
enough
more.
Is enough. Why don't we get rid of this donkey and this elephant?
Right.
Now for the next couple of months, this donkey and this elephant is gone. Meaning you ain't no Republican, there's no Democrat. What it is American.
Right.
Let's get America settled, because this donkey and elephant has got us food. It got us food that we're separate. Like your belief in what you want, what I want is separate. No, we want the same thing. We want an opportunity to succeed, because I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people who love to work. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's some people that love a handout, but that's life. But there's a lot of people that want to work. They want to have the opportunity. And what's strange is, and I want to tell people, now don't get mad at me. Don't send me letters. I don't care about that. The thing is, guys, the reason we moved so much to China is because we decided we wanted more money per hour.
Right.
And not to be mean, how could anyone ask McDonald's to pay them $18 an hour when a Big Mac only costs $2? If I start paying you $18 an hour, sooner or later, I got to move my plant to China too, because I can't afford it. We got to be reasonable. And I know we got to survive. But if we bring all our manufacturing back here, get a lot of our stuff back here, we start working, building our country, because we built so many other countries. Why don't we build ourselves back up? We start helping our homeless. We start helping all people here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one more question, then I have to go pick up my kids because we've been
Yes.
on almost an hour. So I don't know if you've seen the shows on Netflix, which you're super athletic and you do how many push-ups and how many sit-ups a day?
I'm doing about 1,500 push-ups, about 3,500 sit-ups every day.
Okay, so have you heard of the term plant strong or vegan?
Vegan?
Do
I know
you-
vegan.
Do you follow a diet like that or no?
No, I don't follow a diet like that. Yeah, my diet, I have a good diet. I eat one meal a day. I don't eat red meat, no fish.
Sugar.
You don't eat red meat?
No red meat, no fish. I
like
eat
chicken?
I eat a little bit of chicken, not a lot. Soup. You gotta. My thing in eating.
Cheese? You eat cheese?
I like it. I eat a little bit, not that much. But I tell people this: eat whatever you want, but pay the price for eating it.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you want to have that chocolate cake, that is okay. But that means you got to do more push-ups, more sit-ups. You got to run a little bit more. If you want to eat that chocolate cake, you just got to do a little. I remember sacrifice. If you want to eat those cookies, that's okay. But you just got to run a little bit more.
Speaking of cookies, thanks a lot, Herschel. You give us the most amazing cookies for Christmas.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh
If
my
you want to eat
gosh,
those
they're
cookies,
good.
you just got to work out a little more.
Yeah.
It's okay to eat it. You just got to sacrifice. If you want to eat it, work out. Y'all just had. I shouldn't promote this because it's not a Coke product. Coke is in Georgia. Is this a Coke product?
Sunkist, let's say it
Oh,
is.
no, family.
Okay. I put it right here. But anyway, I drink Coke and stuff. But I said, guys, I pay the price for drinking Coke.
Yeah.
People say it has a lot of sugar in it. Well, I look at you how much I work out. People will be shocked. And people will be shocked if I start telling them my schedule. I sleep maybe lately. I've been sleeping maybe an hour and a half a night.
This man doesn't sleep either.
Yeah, I sleep maybe an hour and a half a night. And normally my sleeping is
Man.
maybe 3 hours a night. But now I'm sleeping maybe an hour and a half a night.
You two are
And
machines.
stuff. But it's because you have a job to do. That's what I tell people. You have a job to do. And then I read, because I can read. That's what people don't realize. I read you get REM sleep, which is only an hour and 40 minutes or hour and 45 minutes. REM sleep is your real good sleep, meaning that everyone may sleep 8 hours, but they only get REM sleep of an hour and 45. So Rick and I are getting that hour and 45 minute sleep. We just don't need to lay down for 8 hours, pretending we're tired.
Man.
So I think that's what it is. See, you got to think of those things. I've been thinking of that.
So
I gained the Corona 15.
Well, you can lose it. I tell people, you can pile it on. I can help you cut it up.
I'm in, Herschel. I'm in.
See, we can cut it up.
So what about the you make your living in the chicken business?
Yeah, I have. And lately I've been doing, we pivoted out a little bit. We're still doing chicken, and chicken is, it's coming back up. We pivoted out into some of the PPE things.
Right.
What's wild is we now are selling a lot of isolation level 2 gowns.
Through which company?
Well, I got a Renman Medical Company that
Okay.
we're doing gloves and gowns that we got a plant out of Mexico. I was helping a couple of my hospitals out,
Right.
and I was getting things from China. And one of the things that hurt me is I said, okay, when will the gowns be here? They said, they'll be here on Friday. Friday came, no gowns. They'll be here on Tuesday. Tuesday came, no gown. Wednesday, I kept putting my customer off. And I lied. Meaning I didn't tell them the truth. And so I went to Mexico about almost about 2.5 months ago and found a couple of plants there and started manufacturing the gowns there. And I have a manufacturing company here in Greer, South Carolina, that we do bedspreads and draperies.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to take those level 2 gowns to Greer, South Carolina, and see if they can do the same gown. But we have a price point we want to try to stay within. So I'm trying to get that set up as well,
Right.
because I love to get them manufactured here in the States. I think America is wonderful. America is great. So I want to try to bring some of. I remember I said earlier, bring some of these manufacturing stuff back to the States.
So on the chicken, all the chicken that you get from a Rick Fairless company,
Gosh
Yes.
dang it, it's good.
Yes, it's the best chicken in the world.
it's the
It
best.
is.
I-
It is
I like
the
It
best.
is.
And I didn't pay you to say that. Now let them know I didn't pay you to say
When
that.
we first started using your chicken,
Yeah.
I started using it because somebody hounded me to death, and I'm
Yes.
not
Who
going
was
to say
that?
who that.
Yeah, who was that? Who was that?
And so Julie had what's the guy's name? Julie, your guy,
Oh, Clinton.
Clinton send us a bunch of samples.
Oh, geez.
And so we cooked a bunch of that stuff up, and I expected it to taste like everybody. It's not. It for
Well,
some reason, and it's true. It
Tender.
tastes
I know,
better.
it is good.
It
I
is
think
good.
one of the things, and I tell people this is, and it's not Herschel Walker. I think it's my company. Whereas, Tyson is a great company. Sanderson is a great company. Simmons and Pilgrims, they're great companies. They're big companies.
Yeah.
Well, for me to compete with them, I have to have great quality products. You got to taste good, and my service got to be good. Otherwise, why go to Herschel Walker? You can go to these great companies over here, and they can do a lot more for you. So that's what I learned is I got to have good quality and product to do that. And so that's why I would cut against anyone out there because I can compete with them.
Which my husband's really hoity-toity, and he has impeccable taste in food as well as his parents.
Yes.
He said your chicken wings are the most amazing chicken wings
They
he's
are.
ever had, and he's so
Well, I'll
picky
tell you
about
something
food.
else we got that you all want to try. I don't know if you tried. We have a flat breast that it covered a whole bun, but you can cook it within 3 minutes, but it's like about 1/8 of an inch thick. And what's unique about that is it only takes a little bit to cook, and you take it off the thing, put it in the fryer, and it covers the whole bun. And it's only like 1/8 of an inch thick, and it is absolutely incredible.
Do we
But
have
I'm not telling you to buy
Yeah,
that.
all right, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Bye,
Okay.
Herschel. I gotta pick up my kids.
Tell them I said hello.
I will.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell
So,
Christian and Cheerio we said hey.
Oh yeah, Cheerio. He was upset he couldn't come.
Oh, you should have brought Cheerio.
No, Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Cheerio won't
Ask
in
her
it.
what Pearl did.
So Pearl decided to cut her hair the other day.
half of it.
Half of it. So it's like a reverse mullet on the side of her head.
Oh,
I know.
Just got her scissors and went like
she
that.
did. Look at
Yes.
this picture this morning though, Herschel. You can't
well,
even
that's
tell.
okay. Look, I need a haircut. I've
Look
been
at the
cutting my
side.
own
It's
hair.
not even long on the side, but
Oh.
it's long on the other side.
Oh. Well, she was trying to cut her hair, and if
Yeah.
these governor come together, they can open up some of these
Which, I
barber
don't
shops
know
we can
if
cut off her
these
hair.
people will be
Hey,
able
people
to-
can ride, but you can't get a haircut.
Yeah,
Probably
exactly.
like
You can
that.
ride, but can't get a haircut.
Which you said about giving your kids
Positive
positive. Yeah,
reinforcement.
so I tell Pearl about 200 times a day, probably more than that, how pretty she is.
Yeah.
And she put lipstick all over her face the other day, and she goes, I am so pretty. And she kept saying how pretty she was. And
See?
I thought, oh man, she's going to grow
No,
up
that's
thinking
what you
she's
want
a
to do. You
model. I know.
want to keep telling her that. Don't ever tell her she's not. Make her feel good about herself.
And she'll be like, she'll be in her room by herself or playing, and she'll just go, I am so pretty.
Well,
Oh,
she
boy.
better say that.
I started something. All right, bye.
See ya. So I saw a deal the other day where it talked about, how haircuts are illegal during this
Yeah,
thing,
yes.
but marijuana,
Marijuana
is legal.
is, right.
So they said haircuts are illegal and marijuana is legal. The hippies won.
Oh, yeah, but I tell you what's worth. Think about this now. We open up we want marijuana open. We want the liquor stores open, but the bar can't open. But we want the liquor stores open. But we don't want the churches open. Close the church. So let's get rid of God, but we're going to bring in the devil.
The
That makes no sense.
the liquor stores are essential. They
Yes.
can stay open, but the churches can't.
Churches got to close.
It makes absolutely
Well,
no
I
sense.
would like. Well, you know what's so funny? Whoever coming up with those type of whatever, you need to check them.
Right.
What is their agenda? What are they trying to do? And I'm not going to be mean. And I'll tell
Well,
people this. Think of this. We started out first. What did we start out with? Russia. Then it was impeachment.
Right.
Then it COVID-19. Now it's riot. This president here had to go through so much stuff with no one trying to help him. When people within his administration is telling everybody that he's doing the wrong thing, and all these leakers and this and that. And I'm like, you know what's so funny? And I'm not telling anyone to vote for Trump. I'm just saying, if you look at what he's done with absolutely no help, I'm being honest, look at what he's done and look at the last 4 presidents, what they've done, you'll be totally shocked. What he's done with no help compared to what the last 4 presidents has done. And I said, people would be totally shocked.
Well, you have a unique insight to
Oh,
the
that's true. I
president.
shouldn't tell them all that.
And that's what I wanted you to say earlier was your opinion of whether Donald Trump is a good guy, which you've told me in private that he is.
Yes.
I remember I asked Julie one time. Julie was talking about how y'all went. She was showing me pictures of you and her and Trump's daughter and all that. And I said, what was, Julie was saying it was so cool and it's so cool. And I said, what was the most memorable thing about that meeting? And Julie said, his skin really is orange. That's what Julie said.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's so funny about
Is that from
this?
tanning? Is that what that is?
Well, I
That's
think
just-
it is. But I'll tell you something that's unique about this here. 1985, when I was with the Generals in New York City, and I don't know where, and I don't know because I wrote an article, and I know New York won't go look up this article. I did an article for the New York Times, and I remember they were talking about Donald Trump being the owner of the New Jersey General. I said, you know, it's so funny, this guy could be president one day. I said this in 1985, and the reason I said this, because I said he loves the United States of America. Well, people criticize him because he loves America, and I'm like, shouldn't the president of the United States like
Right.
America
Right.
over anyone else? And shouldn't he try to take care of America over anything else? That's what we elected him for. We didn't elect him to take care of no other country.
Well, and I think part of the reason he was elected, which was one of the reasons that I thought he would be a good president, is that he's not a politician.
No, and we're tired of the same old.
Which is what that, you know, Ross Perot was one of my customers,
Yes.
and I always thought that Ross Perot would have made a great president
Yeah,
because
yes.
he's a businessman
Well,
first.
I think what we got to do is get. And now I'm not. You know, there's some good people in office, but there's some. They're doing the same old.
Right.
And I think we got. If you want to see a change, you got to change
Right.
with new people with new ideas, not the same ideas that's in office. Because this is a new world. You know, not to be mean, but we're getting old. There's a new generation coming up. Well, their ideas and my ideas are totally different. Well, my ideas and some of the people's ideas that was in office are totally different. Well, now you got these old ideas trying to get into this young brain, and it's not working.
Right.
So we got to do some changes, and we gotta go with the times. I think go with the times a little bit.
Let me ask you this: did you watch The Last Dance?
The Last Dance.
Michael Jordan. The Michael
Oh, yeah, I
Jordan
did watch
deal.
that. I watched that, and I absolutely loved it.
Wasn't it cool?
I loved it, and you know what was so funny is I said I like Michael. What's
See,
so funny about it? People saying how mean it was to his teammates.
he's just competitive.
But you know what? He made them win
Right.
because I think that's what you want to do. And I told someone what's so funny about Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders. And I remember watching them, boy, they competed against each other. They're always talking, they're always talking trash. But it made everybody around them play better.
Right.
Because when they went to practice, they practiced hard. Well, it made everybody else step their game up too. And I said, that's how you got to play. And I said, that's what Michael did. He challenged people because you're a professional. You're not there to chase women, go to bars, be a singer, be a rapper. You're there to play basketball.
Now, you told me one time that Aikman was, if you ran the wrong play or something went wrong and you were in the huddle with Aikman and you came back to the huddle, that he'd just eat your ass out right there.
No, and that's the sign of a leader.
Yeah.
A leader is someone that you may not like him sometimes, but he's leading the team because that's his responsibility.
Right.
And that's what I said. Being a leader, people may not like you sometimes, but you got to do what's right. Not what's popular, but what's right. And that's what being a leader. I remember telling Christian that as a Christian.
Christian's your son.
My son, as being a leader, some people are going to disagree with you.
Right.
But you got to do what's right. Do what's great for the majority, not the minority.
Now, is Christian still in New York City?
Christian right now is in California.
I thought he had gone to New York.
Well, he was at SMU, and
Okay.
he studied Chinese and international finance and French and all that. He speaks fluent Mandarin,
Right.
and he writes it as well, French, and writes it as well, and Spanish writes it as well. So he went out to UCLA to finish his Chinese up at UCLA, and I hated for him to leave SMU because I love SMU and stuff. He was close by, but everyone think your child is so wonderful to be right here with you. But that may have been good for him to get away from home a little bit.
And how old is he now?
Christian is he's 20. Christian is 20.
Jeez, that
He's a
doesn't seem
junior.
possible.
Christian is getting ready to graduate soon. He's a smart kid. I say he's book wise, extremely smart.
Right.
I got to work with him street wise a little bit.
Right.
Book wise, he's smart, but street wise, we got to work with him. He trusts too many people.
Right.
He's very trusting.
Well, I think that's the youth.
Well, yeah, that's it. That's the youth. But I think he's starting to come around though. Being out in California, he see everything that's going on out there, and I think he's now becoming aware. And what's so funny is, out of if I get this right, out of 30,000 people getting into UCLA, I think they only took 2,500, and he was one of the 2,500 they took in because came in he started college as a sophomore, and he started at UCLA as a junior.
Right.
And he's going to be a senior coming up.
That's awesome.
So
That's
pretty good.
awesome. So what about characters like Dennis Rodman?
Dennis Rodman. Dennis is interesting. I got a chance to be around Dennis a little bit, and Dennis was an interesting character. We were together on The Apprentice, and Dennis said something to me one time, and because I didn't understand him, and Dennis said, Herschel, Dennis is smarter than what people think he is.
Right.
Because he said, and I saw this too. He said, when I'm the worm, people really like me. When I'm Dennis, people don't really talk to him, which is true. People like that crazy Dennis, that one that's doing all these wild things. That's what people like. That's what I like with the news. News don't like to report on good things.
No.
They don't report on the negative, bad things.
Right.
And I said, well, Dennis, that's what's sad is I think everybody goes to the circus to see the clown. But that's the way he made money, and I can understand that. You make money by being the biggest clown.
What does he do now?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Dennis does now, but like I said, Dennis is smarter than what people think he is.
Right.
And stuff. And I said, he does these crazy things, but I respect Dennis. I respect him a lot, and I even called Dennis at The Apprentice, and I apologized to him because I was rough on him at The Apprentice a little bit, but I realized that Dennis he's one thing about him, very loyal to his friends. And I think that's very important.
Does he still live in Dallas?
I'm not sure. I think Dennis is out in California. I think he's in California. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So I think, Josh, you got anything else? Okay. Julie, you got anything you want to add?
No.
You want to come get on camera and show everybody how pretty you are?
Excellent podcast.
Well, I need to do a podcast sometime, Rick. Could I just come and use your podcast?
Yeah. You need to.
I
mean, you got something to say, and people.
I don't know about that.
You do, and people want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I said I don't know about that. It's strange because in today's world, I think people need to speak the truth, and speaking the truth is the right thing.
Right.
Right now, we're going through a tough time, and it's funny. I tweeted out one time. I said, I've been silent, but some of the things that have happened, I got to shout from the rooftop that it's not right. You can't not sit back and think that things are going to be okay when you see it going to HELL in a handbasket or whatever they may call it. And you can't just continue to let it go.
No, and it's there's the things that we're living through now. We've never had to live through this in our lifetime, and we're seeing things, and I'll be 64 this year, which just sounds incredible to say, but I'm seeing things differently than what I remember seeing as a kid, and I look at things differently. To me, the way I think and the way I look at things is as a grandpa now, when I try to think, what would I want my grandkids to see me do this or say that, or, and a lot of people that come up here, they I guess they respect me and they ask me, what do I think about this or what do I think about that? So, I can only imagine with you have to be careful what you say because so many people listen to you, but you have a voice. And, I've always told people, you're the nicest guy I ever met. I mean, Herschel Walker is the king of being humble, nicest person.
Nice,
and you have something that needs to be said.
Wow, thank you.
So if you ever want to use my platform
Big head.
What's that?
I said, you're going to give him the big head.
Yeah,
No.
I'm starting to fall over
Please.
like this, Rick. I'm like, I got to hold my head back up, pull it up.
So like you're a guy that from the time you were in high school through, all the rest of your life, you got crowds following you and just wanting to,
relatives. That's all they are. Relatives make me feel.
Well, if you, I think college, I saw something. College football named you like the number 1 or 2 greatest player to ever play the game.
They just, they make me feel good. They wanted me to come to the banquet.
If you go back and you look at some of the highlights of Herschel Walker in college, oh my God, it's incredible. And then same thing in the pros. I mean,
They
it's just,
Photoshop, Rick. Photoshopping. They Photoshop. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
so anyway, yeah, I appreciate you coming
Thank
out
you,
to
Rick.
the
Thank you
show.
for having me on.
And I know
Yes.
you're busy. Have you started traveling again yet?
No. We're hunkered down in our home. We're still going through this the COVID-19.
Yeah.
So I think we still doing a social distance, and it's funny because in my neighborhood, I got to see people I didn't even know exist in my neighborhood. Like,
I
where do
know.
these people come from? These are strangers in the neighborhood. Like they're walking like, who are those people there? I never even seen them. Then I get to see kids on bicycles. I never thought that was kids that even rode a bike anymore.
I know they don't,
So
but
it's the most unique and the best thing I think it is. But maybe this was a way to get the families together.
yeah, no, I
It
think
might
it
be,
is. And I live in the same neighborhood over
Yes.
there where you used to live.
Yes.
And when I come home, I used to never see anybody out. Now you come home and there's dozens of
They're
people walking and riding
yes,
bicycles,
bike.
and
And like I didn't even know kids knew how to ride a bike anymore.
they don't.
Hey, I'm
But
like,
they're
wow.
trying. They're
Hey.
trying. So anyway, I appreciate you coming out on our show, and
Thank you.
we'll do it again.
I love to.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Herschel.
Rick.
Rick Fairless. See you later.